On Saturday, Republican presidential contender Donald Trump laid out his plan for the first 100 days of his administration, if elected. His contract with the American voter proposes a number of significant changes that, if instituted, would change the landscape of American politics in ways that most establishment politicians would not even consider. It is a contract between myself and the American voter and begins with restoring honesty, accountability and change to Washington, he explained to a small group of supporters in attendance. With a more serious tone than we've generally seen from the Republican contender, Trump began his speech at the Eisenhower complex in Gettysburg by addressing some of the major problems plaguing the nation today, including radical Islamic terrorism, a weak economy, and impotent leaders. We will drain the swamp in Washington, D.C., and replace it with a new government of, by and for the people, he said. That is why I have chosen Gettysburg to unveil this contract. He also took the opportunity to reiterate that Hillary Clinton should have been precluded from participating in this presidential election because of the scandals involving her emails and the Clinton Foundation, and noted that a vote for Clinton would be a vote for 4 more years of Obama's policies. Hillary Clinton is not running against me, he said. She is running against change. Trump also stated that he did not need to run for president, but felt compelled to do so. I am not a politician, he also said Saturday. But when I saw the trouble our country was in, I felt I had to act. During his speech, Trump acknowledged the women who have recently come forward with claims of sexual misconduct against him. Every woman lied when they came forward to hurt my campaign, said Trump, adding, all of these liars will be sued after the election is over. He also hinted at the possibility of suing the political operatives who planted protesters at his rallies to provoke violence, and accused the Democratic National Committee and the Clinton campaign of being behind those protesters, a claim that recent videos by Project Veritas has backed up. Meanwhile, Trump's address proposed several major items that he believes are necessary in order to combat government corruption, including term limits through a constitutional amendment, a proposal that resonates with many voters. But while the idea of term limits is an alluring notion for those who are frustrated with the politics-as-usual establishment lawmakers in Washington, it would do more harm than good, as it would create a partially lame duck Congress every session. Politicians who cannot be held accountable by voters and so have no real reason to do the will of their constituents. Likewise, given the government's willingness already to violate the Constitution, the addition of another amendment would not likely prohibit lawmakers from circumventing it also. Another of Trump's proposals geared toward bringing significant change to Washington is a 5-year ban on White House and congressional officials becoming lobbyists after they leave government service. Additionally, he said he would impose a lifetime ban on White House officials lobbying on behalf of a foreign government, as well as a hiring freeze at some federal agencies. Trump also announced that for every new federal rule issued, 2 existing regulations would be eliminated. Ever the negotiator, Trump's plan for the first 100 days includes renegotiating NAFTA and withdrawing from the Trans-Pacific Partnership. On immigration, his plan includes deporting criminal illegal immigrants, cutting funding to sanctuary cities, and the imposition of mandatory minimum prison sentences for illegal immigrants who re-enter the country after being deported. He also stated that he would suspend immigration from terror-prone nations. Trump also used his address to criticize the liberal media, which he contends has rigged the election against him. They're trying desperately to suppress my vote and the voice of the American people, he declared. In fact, Trump stated that the media has become much too powerful and has abused its power by directing news coverage. In an effort to combat this abuse of power, he announced that his administration would undo a deal between AT&T and Time Warner that would ultimately result in the creation of a media conglomerate. As an example of the power structure I'm fighting, said Trump, AT&T is buying Time Warner and, thus, CNN, a deal we will not approve in my administration, because it's too much concentration of power in the hands of too few. He said that he would have never approved the acquisition of NBC Universal by Comcast Corp in 2013, since those mergers destroy democracy and poison the mind of the American voter. The Comcast purchase of NBC concentrates far too much power in one massive entity that is trying to tell the voters what to think and what to do, Trump declared. Deals like this destroy democracy, and we look at breaking that deal up and other deals like that. This should never ever have been approved in the first place. They're trying to poison the mind of the American voter. According to Trump, the media has been far too complicit in the slander against him by his female accusers who are alleging sexual misconduct. When a simple phone call placed with the biggest newspapers or television networks gets them wall-to-wall coverage with virtually no fact-checking whatsoever, here is why this is relevant to you, he said. If they can fight somebody like me who has unlimited resources to fight back, just look at what they could do to you, your jobs, your security, your education, your health care. Other notable recommendations in his speech include tax breaks for the middle class, and the replacement of Obamacare with a health savings account program. Trump also indicated that he would cancel payments to the United Nations on programs related to climate change. Those dollars, he stated, would instead be used to fix infrastructure in the United States. Additionally, he vowed to cancel every unconstitutional executive action enacted by President Obama. Change has to come from outside our very broken system, he said. The fact that the Washington establishment has tried so hard to stop our campaign is only more proof that our campaign represents the kind of change that only arrives once in a lifetime. Saturday's speech, perhaps the most detailed one that Trump has given during his candidacy for president, provided a great deal of insight into what a Trump administration would seek to accomplish. I am asking the American people to rise above the noise and the clutter of our broken politics, and to embrace that great faith and optimism that has always been the central ingredient in the American character, he said. I am asking you to dream